Hello there. Welcome to the Force Collective. We have returned, finally. Now everybody's actually here, all together. It's been a while since we've all four been together on the same screen. How's everybody doing?
Next question.
Thank you.
All right. So there's quite a few things to talk about today. The release of Kenobi, Star Wars Celebration stuff. I just learned today that there is going to be a season 2 of The Bad Batch, and they released a trailer for it. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Nope.
No, not yet.
Well,
I have.
It's a good trailer in my opinion, but I'm always an optimistic person. But I enjoyed the trailer. I think it looks really good. But there's also a few other trailers that came out, like Andor, and there was something else that an image for Indiana Jones. There was actually some information about Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, which is I think going to be like an animated show in the theme of Clone Wars, I guess, and it's about the Jedi. It's supposed to be in a way like a prequel show to the Clone Wars or whatever. That's all I know about that. So they announced a lot recently. Some of it's quite interesting. What do you guys think about all that? I don't care.
I have nothing. Because, I haven't seen any of it, so...
Well, you're learning about it now. You should... For somebody that like myself who has been staying away from Star Wars YouTubers for a little bit just to not get spoiled on anything, I seem to know more than you.
Yeah, but remember, no computer.
Oh, that's right.
It's the Dark Ages over there for Soraya.
Yeah.
I'm used to having like 25 different tabs open on a computer with 2 monitors doing all crazy types of stuff. Yeah, I don't have that at the moment.
It's okay. It's okay.
I don't even have heat, and it's bloody winter.
Like I'm honestly like surprised that I was able to stream today because of the trouble I've been having with my computer. So I think we're in a similar boat. Because mine would not put me in the stream. I think Chrono probably seen me show up earlier, like about 30 or so minutes before the stream had to start, and then I left because I had to restart my computer because it wouldn't do anything. So I don't know if you've seen me.
But my computer's perfectly working. It's perfectly fine. It's just got no power.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. It's not working because you have no power. Mine's not working right because it's just old. But both of ours are just not working, no matter the reason.
So your computer is not as cool as Kenobi's communicator that works stuck away in a box for years.
Yeah, exactly. My computer is not as cool as his communicator. Actually, I want that communicator ringtone for my phone now. I want it.
Oh, yeah.
I should do that. Anyways, so we're here discussing. First of all, like I don't know if any of you had said anything about that stuff yet, so I'll let you guys say your piece on some of the stuff announced. But we're here to discuss Kenobi as well.
Just pick one. I mean, which do you want us to talk about first? I mean, there were several announcements.
Well, I just want your thoughts on what you've heard about. So, just talk about whatever you feel like talking about. Just give me your thoughts. I want your unfiltered thoughts. I want to pick your brain.
Unfiltered.
Really? Unfiltered on YouTube? Are you sure?
Shade.
Not that
Shade.
Kind of
Yes.
What do you want, Soraya?
Do you really want me unfiltered?
Not the Australian. Not the Australian type of unfiltered, okay? We will censor the Australian in this chat.
You want the American version.
We want the American version. As much
Oh,
as
shock
we love,
darn! It was so cool, and I can't wait to.
look, we need like a Sir Away needs like a segment of his own. I mean, another segment of his own called Unfiltered with Sir Away. That would be interesting. Very interesting. But I'm afraid that
You know that's not going to be G-rated, right?
Exactly. So, that won't be on Star Wars Topics. It'll be on his channel or something like that. I'm giving you a content idea. Okay, just create a show similar to Star Wars Topics called Unfiltered with Sir Away. You talk about various things like I do, except mine's Star Wars thing. You can do about anything. See, I'm helping you out, giving you ideas. Anyway, we already got a specific segment for Sir Away here, but we won't get to it just yet. I think Chrono and Sir Away have both seen it, but Commander Tano has not. So when we get to that, I'm going to play it. I'm pretty sure Chrono's seen it. I know Sir Away has.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, so as far as your thoughts on what's been released, is there anything in particular that you actually like are either excited or you dread the most, or just we'll start in order. Chrono's next to me. We'll actually have an order here, so go ahead, Chrono, and say your piece about what has been announced.
Well, I haven't seen every announcement, but I have seen most of them. Yesterday, I was really surprised, and I was happy to see that Fallen Order is getting a sequel. I mean, we knew it was coming, but we saw the trailer finally, and I can't wait. I really want more of that adventure. I'm happy to see we still get to follow Cal, and yeah, I really can't wait to see the new gameplay because they nailed it with the last one. So can't wait to see what they did for this one.
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
And other than that, I was also very happy to see the Tales of the Jedi stuff because they're going to do 3 of them based on Ahsoka, and I'm all for it.
Yes, me too.
I'm really looking forward to see her because they announced that they're going to focus on different stages of her, from being a baby to being the Ahsoka we know, and I really like that. So a friend of mine was actually saying like, aren't they giving us too much Ahsoka? And I'm like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about.
There is no such thing.
Yeah,
no such thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I was really happy to see that, and I like that they are focusing on. I don't know who else is going to be on this show, but I like that they are trying to show Jedi stories because they don't focus on those enough. I mean, we see a lot of Jedi stuff from the ones involved in the main story, but we don't explore farther than that. And there are so many interesting stories out there. I also liked I was really surprised by the Andor trailer because I really wasn't expecting anything in particular about that show, and the trailer really makes me feel like I'm going to enjoy that show. And then that didn't happen with Kenobi. Kenobi's trailer didn't exactly make you jump with excitement. It was like, oh, okay, it looks okay. It looks good. But this one is probably because it's very different from the stuff we are used to. This is the time of the Empire oppressing all these systems, and these people trying to stand up to them. And I think the wokeness we complain about so much in other shows is going to actually help this one.
Mm-hmm.
No such thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to that one. That the trailer looked really polished, and I think it's going to be very good for world building. That's that show in particular.
Yes, the wonderful
Um,
world of world building.
yeah, and we all
Very
like world building. So yeah, I think we're going to enjoy that one.
I think I need to make a Star Wars topic stream just solely focused on why world building is so important.
Yeah.
Just one.
Okay, no, we can remember our streams that was like the 4-part one that we did or whatever. They were all about 3 hours long, or maybe almost 4. Yeah, we need something about world building, but for that,
We never got to
Yeah.
4.
we never got to 4.
Yes.
No.
Really? Was it what? So there was there was supposed to be a 4th part though, wasn't there? We never finished it, did we?
Yeah. No.
I can't
It's
remember.
still pending.
I completely forgot about that. That's been a while. We might have to finish that. I'm going to have to rewatch that and see where we left off. Anyway, I also had the same reaction to Andor. I did not like. I had no excitement for that show in the least. I was not. I didn't care that much. I mean, I liked Cassian from Rogue One, but his character wasn't interesting enough for me to want a full show centered around him. Good character, not good enough for that kind of thing. But the trailer actually surprised me. Like, I was surprisingly interested, and I'm like, huh, this looks different, and I like it. So, I felt the same way. But this part's not about me. Do you have anything else to say, Chrono, before we?
No, not really, because that's all I saw. I mean, I know they talked about some other stuff, but I didn't really see every announcement. So those are the ones that really stuck out for me.
All right, then. What about you, Commander Tano?
So, yeah, I will be very brief. I haven't seen the trailer for Andor. I need to. So what else have we got? I've seen the Bad Batch trailer. Yeah, I liked it. I liked mainly the trailer didn't reveal much,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously with Bad Batch, I'm kind of in the same state as I was at the end of it. I'm like I'm like hopeful but pessimistic, and I'm hoping that I can kind of reverse predict right now a good second. If I complain enough that the next season will be disappointing, then it won't. If I do that far enough in advance, let's hope. Let's hope that. Yeah, I'm most intrigued by the whole Tales of the Jedi, and have more of that content from that era. I'm sure it'll be great.
Hello there,
Yeah.
little. Sorry, I'm interrupting. I'm just saying hello. Hello there. All right,
Yeah,
continue
so
on.
I'm kind of this mix of like, kind of cautious, hopeful, pessimistic, need to just kind of complain in advance about certain things being awful to maybe. That's probably what I didn't do that for the Book of Boba Fett, so I'm sorry. I failed you all with that. And I didn't, and I don't know if I did. I guess I did it slightly for Kenobi, but I don't know if I did it enough. But I'm going to do it like in earnest for the Bad Batch. So hopefully season 2 of the Bad Batch will be good.
Oh yes, I mean, there one thing that intrigues me because everybody's wanted it. I've wanted it for a long time, but we all wanted to know what happened to Commander Cody, and they showed him in the trailer. He was wearing similar armor to what he had in the Clone Wars, but it was gray. Like instead of the orange, it was all gray. I don't know if you noticed that or not, and you guys will notice it. I think about 44 seconds in, I think is when it shows him. I think you will notice that. And it's quite interesting that we're going to get to see Commander Cody once again. And I think it's actually very important that they finally show us what's going on with him because, a lot of people have been curious and nobody has said anything about it. Nobody knows I guess what happened to Commander Cody, unless there's some sort of outside lore that I haven't read or something like that. Unless they explained it in Legends, but I also haven't made it that far there either. All right. Anyways, I'm rambling. Go ahead, Commander Tano. Continue what you're saying.
That was it. That was the gist of it. So yeah, I'm kind of just waiting, and complaining in advance. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Well, did you have anything else to say, Soraya Way? I mean, I think you said that you weren't able to, you know.
Well, there is something I could say, but I reserve the right to say it after everything with Kenobi.
Okay. Well, speaking of then, we can probably just go ahead and actually start our discussion of. Let's start off with the first episode. We won't talk about the second one just yet. We'll go from episode to episode, and I want to talk about the positives first, and then we'll go on to the negatives, if any. I mean, it depends on, I guess, how everybody interpreted the episode. So I'm not going to say anything first. I'm going to wait till last, because I'm saving the best for last. Okay, I'm just kidding. We'll start off with Chrono. Go ahead, Chrono, and give me what you liked about the first episode.
What I liked about the first episode, that's gonna be tough because most of the episode I was like, I didn't dislike it, but I also was not impressed. I did like that Tatooine looks better than it did in Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
It actually looks like Tatooine. It doesn't look like the same street copy pasted all over town, and things don't look shiny as they supposedly shouldn't be.
Speed bumps.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I also like the way they show. People were complaining about this, and I actually liked it. The way they show Kenobi's daily routine, that he goes to work and goes back and does the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, yeah, I mean that makes sense considering the guy's trying to keep a low profile, and yeah, you're not supposed to just be trying out new stuff and going here and there. You're supposed to have something steady, something reliable that makes it easy for you to keep your eye on things because you're on the run. So the fact that he's doing these things every day in the same way, it kind of makes sense.
What do those people expect him to be doing?
Yeah,
just literally sitting on a rock watching Luke.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
I mean, you got to have a job to pay for a home and food and all that stuff. Like, what did they expect?
I bet that was a little close to home with you, right?
Yeah.
You totally related to him going back and forth.
Go ahead, continue, Chrono.
So yeah, I like that part, and I also like the fact that they use this huge manta ray, were like harvesting all the meat, and I think that was clever because it's like, yeah, you don't get a lot of that stuff in Tatooine, so when you do, you have to set up shop and strip that thing for everything it's got. So that aspect of it I really liked. Because they keep showing us small stuff, like for the people who claim on Twitter that Star Wars doesn't do a good job of showing you cultural aspects and everything unless they tell you in verbal form. Yeah, this is how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to show it.
World building.
Yeah.
The best thing about Star Wars is the world building.
And I also liked. I liked and not so much like the way they handled the other Jedi, the guy who died.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like the fact that there was another Jedi on the run, and but I don't like that he was there basically just to confront Obi-Wan on him. Oh yeah, We're supposed to go back into the fight, and what are we going to do? And like, yeah, no. Can't you see that the guy's trying to not stand out, and people are trying to kill all of you? Like, yeah, what are you supposed to do? Are you going to, the two of you, you expect that he's going to help you take on the entire empire? I mean,
Or you can just say in the great words of Luke Skywalker, what do you expect me to do? Go out and face him with a laser sword?
yeah. Actually, yeah, that's another missed opportunity. He could have said that.
He really could have. No, honestly, I'm so glad he didn't. I like that they sort of in a way they sort of turned this Obi-Wan into the Luke of The Last Jedi, but it works. And it makes
Yeah.
It makes
a lot of
sense.
sense. And I like this idea. I really like the idea they went for. But, we'll get more to
It's
that
probably
later.
the only good idea.
Well, keep going, Chrono. Sorry.
Yeah, and well, yeah, I like the way they introduced the Inquisitors, but I also did not like the way they show the Grand Inquisitor, because that's not the guy we met in Rebels. I mean, you can easily tell that this is a different character. I mean, it's supposed to be him, but he doesn't behave the way the other one did.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the hell is wrong with that guy's arms. Did you notice at all that when he walks, his arms are just like stuck to his side?
I never noticed that,
He
but
never moves his arm. It's like the costume.
Now I'll go back and watch that.
Yeah, it's like the costume is preventing him from actually moving his arms, and it looks really weird. The costume is great, but the fact that he never moves his arms, it's like, are you like a non-articulated figure?
Maybe that's why they
how
did.
Reva was able to gut him, because
Yeah.
We're not meant to be talking about episode 2.
Yeah, let's save that for episode 2.
It's a great theory.
It is a good theory.
Yeah.
Continue on, Chrono.
So yeah, I mostly think it was okay as an episode, and after seeing the first episode end, I completely understand and remember we had this talk about why they were releasing the two of them. And remember, I told you it was because the first one was probably not a good hook. And yeah, that's it. If they had released this one and not the second one, people would not be like jumping. I need the next one. No, they wouldn't be.
And I mean,
Because
I can see that.
Yeah, that final scene with him going into the transport and everything, that doesn't make you excited for what's coming. It's just that, like, oh, okay, you're leaving.
I feel like it could, like, if they wanted to end that episode on a more like, not a higher note, but more like if they wanted to sharpen the hook, so it'd probably hopefully catch you. They probably could have ended it slightly differently. But I mean, I don't have any complaints. I mean, but maybe it's because they showed both episodes. But Yeah,
no, it's not really a complaint, but it's like I understand that they did it because the audience would not have been hooked if they only showed him leaving the planet and not what comes next.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
I mean, it's like instead of a first episode, we got like a first double episode, because that's how it was supposed to be. And well, all those details aside, we have to talk, of course, about the elephant in the room for this show, which is Leia.
Yes.
Most people on Twitter and most YouTubers seem to hate the character, and I don't understand why. I mean, I can see why they would find her annoying, but I think it works.
She's behaving her age.
She's behaving her age. Absolutely.
I think some people don't I mean, when they see a child character, they treat them like the adult characters, and
Yeah.
you can't do that. You got to treat
No.
them as just the character that they are. I thought it was a perfect showing of Leia at that age. I mean, that's
I
just
can,
me.
I can totally understand that some people might find her annoying because she kind of she's kind of intentionally annoying because she's supposed to be this snarky kid that thinks she knows better than everyone, and yeah, that's pretty much who Leia is. And we see
Exactly.
I mean, the first time we see her in the very first movie, we see her standing up to Vader like he's nothing. I mean, this woman doesn't know what fear is.
Exactly. Like she jumped off the roof
Yeah,
and grabbed a line. The only reason why she was scared then is because she knew she was going to fall to her possible death.
yeah,
But she jumped no fear because she was just she was just running away from Kenobi, because she
yeah.
thought that being around him is what's going to get her killed. Well, I mean, it almost got her killed if it wasn't for him, but
Yeah, and the way she arcs with him, well, this is conversation for the second episode because that happened in the second episode. But from the first episode, the one thing I actually understand from some of the people who didn't like her character, some of the speeches she delivers feel a little bit forced. Not badly, but just a little bit like, yeah, I mean, a 10-year-old would give you a comeback and would try to be smarter than you, but this is like too well crafted for a kid. That's kind of the only small issue I might have with some of the dialogue, but not with her as a kid. I mean, she really nails the character. This little girl really does a good job.
yeah, I think it was perfect casting. I really don't think I want to imagine anybody else playing it other than her, because I personally really enjoyed seeing her. So I mean, it's good casting. Anyways,
Yeah, it is. And I know I'm a little bit biased because I actually like kids a lot, and my favorite type of kid is exactly the way she is. I have a niece that I really love, and she's exactly like that. And like, yeah, I can see that I am biased because I really like when kids behave that way. But yeah, I understand that some people would, especially people who are not exactly into kids, might find her like too annoying.
yeah,
I understand that. I just don't think it's fair to say it's a bad character or a bad representation of that character. I don't think it is.
I agree. All right, you got anything else to say about that, or should we just move on to? Okay,
That's probably it.
all right. So we're sticking with the positives on episode 1. So, Commander Tano, your turn.
Okay, positives episode 1. I'm gonna try and think of things like I agree with everything that Chrono has said, so I'm not gonna repeat it. Especially regarding Leia. I like I said,
Actually, we need your take on Leia as broad as you want because you are the female. I don't know what I'm talking about. Whatever you say is truer than what I say.
That's true. That's true. So so yeah, my brief I'll add my brief radical feminist take on Leia. So the one thing I'll add, and this is something I also appreciated about Omega's character, is that you can and this, I guess this applies to Leia both in episode 1 and 2, but they're clearly both children, and they're allowed the people who wrote these episodes, they're allowing them to make mistakes like children do, and to be to just do stupid things, be too trusting, or just be too impetuous, or so I like that. I don't. So yeah, that is something where it's like, and I know a lot of people. There are a number of people on Twitter who I really like and respect, who have just very different views, kind of interpretations of how Leia was handled or whatever. So that's just the thing that I find interesting in general about this series, is that, say, unlike Book of Boba Fett, where it's like reactions range from negative to, at best, like just kind of disappointing, meh. You know, I mean, everything seemed to coalesce on kind of more of the negative side of things.
Yeah.
This series is really interesting and kind of a bit more polarizing because, like I said, I can find people who, once again, I really like and respect, and who I think would agree with each other otherwise on a lot of things Star Wars or just life stuff, but just having very different takes on this series. So it's interesting. But yeah, more positives. Well, since I'm the token Mary Sue here, this may surprise some people, or it might not. But I'm going to put this in the, at least tentatively, in the box of positives. I'm going to say a few things about Reva.
Okay.
So, hear me out.
Okay.
First of all, I will say Disney made a huge, the people behind the marketing of the series, they made a huge mistake trying to race bait with the character and all that stuff. That said, what I found interesting, I was kind of comparing that character to Admiral Holdo. And I've said, and you all have heard me say many times over and over, that, Holdo is actually a very well done character cast in the wrong role. It's like,
Yep.
I could, like, if I rewrote The Last Jedi, if I rewrote the sequel trilogy, I would keep that character, but I would put her in the villain role. Like, she just, she's got that kind of, she's got that vibe. That's I could see her being like kind of one of these, kind of, Coruscant politician bureaucrat types, like that. It's just that fits. And so what I was pleased to see, at least so far, is that initially when I, like, if we're just talking about the first episode with the hand chopping and stuff, I was like, and just how that character was behaving, I was thinking many things were popping into my mind, many words that I can't necessarily say here. One of them rhymes with witch. The other one is sometimes an Australian term of endearment. But yeah, I was thinking those. But also I was like, I would have said this is a terrible character if they had cast this character as like being for the rebellion, or for the good guys. That said, I'm like, okay, well, she fits with the Empire, definitely. Now I am kind of, I'm not going to kind of give judgment on this yet because I'm not quite sure what they're doing with this, and this is more of an episode 2 matter to talk about. But regarding kind of her relationship with the Grand Inquisitor and all of that, I do have some questions. But also I found it kind of funny too. Like, I did love like the constant, like that. I love the constant that everyone was like Reva, you're too much. Basically, everyone was like you're all like you're crazy, and I found it kind of funny because I feel like if this was a story done by Ryan Johnson, Reva would be like would be the hero of the story, and she'd be giving us all these morality lessons and shit. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
but
No, I get it, and I agree.
So I do see that. As a positive. I'm like, she's a nut, and she is not. Like, so I'm fine with kind of the role she was cast in, and I get that there has to be, it's because of the plot armor that a lot of characters in this series will, Kenobi and others will have. The Imperials are obviously going to have to lose, and you need to have some Imperial who's going to be dumb and mess things up, or be too impetuous and whatever. And that's going to be her. And so the other thing I will say is, like I said, I think Disney made a huge mistake with the race baiting with that character.
Yep.
I will also say why I think that character is a positive is because One thing I would have initially, like I said, if this was kind of, if this was, kind of done Ryan Johnson style, Last Jedi style, what would have been really concerning is if this character is going to be set up as a good guy, this character is going to be kind of be the moral voice, as they were trying to set up Haldo as, in that story. But that's doesn't seem to be what they're doing.
I hope not.
Yeah, hey, I think in terms of thinking about predictions going forward, could they conceivably pull kind of an Agent Callus sort of thing with her? Yes, they could try that, and maybe that's what they're going to do, and maybe they'll succeed at that, and that would be interesting. But at least so far, it's like she's in the right role for the character that she is. And so it's like, and that's the thing. I do like I said, my main issues with her character are kind of the relationship to and skill level compared to the Grand Inquisitor. And once again, I've got just some questions about what happened in episode 2.
I feel like they have a pretty wholesome relationship.
Yeah.
Pretty wholesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something I'd like to take a stab at too someday.
Yeah.
So I've got questions about that. I've got,
I don't know if I have the guts to do it though.
But but so far what I do appreciate is that she's firmly in the villain category. I feel like, if this was done 5 years ago, she would be in hero category, which would be insane. But so and that's the other thing. It's like I do think like when Disney will talk about representation in franchises, I think it's important for it to go both ways, where it's not just you have representation on kind of the quote hero side, of a story, but the villains are still all look the same. I think it's actually a positive thing when you have the villains not all look the same. So yeah,
exactly. I like that.
And like I said, I thought it was actually kind of funny with the different Inquisitors kind of cutting on her and being like, you're nuts. Like you it's like, okay, you don't need to cut off any limbs. Like, look, we'll just offer money. Like, just chill.
Just chill out, bro.
Yeah, and maybe that was not the intended effect, but once it's kind of. But I just thought it was funny. So that was a positive in that they're not trying to make this character be the moral voice of the story. That's all I want. So I'm happy. I'm satisfied so far. Do I have
no
questions
redemption
about
death, right?
I do. That more conversation for episode 2. That's the thing. This is so hard to sequester. Kind of.
I know, right?
There's so many things, like when talking about Leia, it's like you got to kind of talk about episode 2 when talking about this thing or that thing. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, I think in general, it seems like they put more money into this series, which is good. It kind of, once again, I think it's kind of seeing this, it's just going to make people frustrated. It's like, well, why couldn't you have had that same level of attention for Boba Fett? But yeah. Yeah, that's all I'll say for now, because I feel like so many other things that I could say, it'll just leak into episode 2 territory, and I already kind of have done that. So yeah, I'll just stop.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Saray Way, I think it's your turn now.
Okay. The positives.
Prepare for the rest of the stream, though, to be Saray Way. Just
I am going to keep this positive.
Okay.
Now, oh crap, I can't. I agree with the fact that showing Kenobi with his, the daily grind was a good idea. Don't think the choice of work was such a good idea, but hey, that's fine. He's meant to be looking after Luke. So, having a job that he has to travel by hover train to doesn't sound like the best idea. But positive. I really love the new character Leia Ex Machina. I think she fits into the story that they're wanting to tell extremely well. And they've just crafted her to do exactly what they want the story to do. Besides everything with Kenobi, Ewan McGregor did really great. That's frankly all the positives.
That was the shortest segment for Survey that I've ever seen.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm keeping this part positive. That's the reason why it's short.
Yeah, he's going to steal the show in the next half.
Yeah. Look, Sir AOA specializes in the negative, so that's why we got a whole segment dedicated just to him. But
he's our resident Sith.
What?
He's our resident Sith.
Yep, our resident Sith, or Devil's Advocate, or whatever you want to call him. Resident Sith is probably the best one. But before we get to the next segment, the negatives, it's my turn. There's so much I want to say that I appreciate about this first episode.
Before you start, I'm just going to point out that I'm pretty sure that you were ecstatic about the way they start the show.
I was going to mention that first.
So, yeah, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Look, I'm honestly very happy how the episode started out. And before I get into exactly how I feel, the people that are complaining about that, like the timing of the episode coming out and all that stuff, they should just stop complaining about it. I mean, it is what it is. It's not the show's fault that somebody went and shot up Texas, which I'm actually very much not happy about. Yeah. It's a bad situation. I agree. I'm not belittling it in any way, shape, or form, but it's not the show's fault.
But it's not related. It's not related, not even remotely. I mean, these people really are just looking for an excuse to complain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so those people complaining about that, they just need to stop. They just want something to complain about. Anyway, on to the positives. So, for the first time, we get to see clone troopers in actual armor, not CGI clone troopers, which was really cool. Getting to see Order 66 happen, getting to see more of it, that is, from different perspectives.
You wanted more. You wanted more.
Yeah, I always want more. Sorry, we had to do it at least once. Anyways, So yes, I've always wanted to see more from different perspectives. Like we got a little bit of that in episode 3 from different perspectives, like from other Jedi. But we're getting to see more of inside the temple rather than just the scene where Anakin walks up to a child and ignites his lightsaber. We get to see a lot
And
more.
says boo.
And says boo. Yeah, Hayden Christensen telling him to get boo, getting a genuine scared reaction somehow. Which is, that's quite interesting. But we get to see more of what's going on inside the temple, which we didn't get to see that in Star Wars Episode 3, and it's very interesting. And the way they did it, it was really good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I know why they did it though, because they're setting up Reva's character. I mean, a lot of the Inquisitors, if you actually here's some background, and I've got a theory, which is why I sort of questioned a little bit about what Commander Tono was saying about her being in the villain role. I feel like there's going to be a redemption because I think they're going to go. Now, before I say this, has anybody here at least seen the story of Jedi Fallen Order?
I'm familiar
Yes, I
with
have.
it, and regarding your prediction, I think it is. I don't know if it's a prediction, but I think it is possible. But yeah,
Okay.
No, I
Yeah.
haven't.
Okay, well, there's going to be some spoilers here, so if you don't want to hear anything, you might want to leave for a second. If
No,
you
that's
ever,
fine.
no, you don't. Okay, all right. Well, in the end of the game, the main villain Inquisitor, the one that's just following you around trying to catch you through the whole thing, Trilla, who is the Padawan to the Jedi Master that finds Cal at the beginning of the game. She's after us. She, catches up with us. We go to like this facility, I think, and we end up fighting her near the end. Well, she basically sort of does the redemption death type of thing. Like at the end, she I guess I can't remember exactly how it went down. But like right before because Vader jumps in right behind her and says, "You failed me, Inquisitor," and she looks at her master and says, "Avenge us," and he kills her. I feel like they're trying to pull a Trilla with Reva. I'm not going to say much about that just yet because this is more of the um, just talking about the positives rather than theorizing. But back to the positives. I just
Actually,
wanted to say that.
Yeah, actually, that is on. Remember, we agreed to not talk about the leaks because not everyone wanted to. Yeah, that you're
Yeah.
saying that right there. That is in the leaks.
Okay, so I mean, I sort of figure that's what they're going for, so that
Yeah.
doesn't really feel spoilery to me. Okay, so anyways, what I was getting ready to say before I mentioned Jedi Fallen Order is that they showed those Padawans at the beginning. One of them has to be Trilla because they probably took her and turned her into an Inquisitor, similarly to how they turned Trilla into an Inquisitor in Jedi Fallen Order, because we get to see a bit of that in the game as well about how they took her and turned her into an Inquisitor. So I feel like they're trying to pull a Trilla with this character, but I'm not going to go into that right now. This is more of the positives, but like I like how they showed Order 66, and I know why they did it. To give a little background to Reva, whatever, however you pronounce her name. But anyways, it was a phenomenal scene. I clearly it really started off with a bang, in my opinion, and it just set the tone for. I feel like it was setting the tone for what this not season, but this show was going to be like. So there's that. We get to see for the first time, like more of not first time, second time. We get to see Alderaan, and we get to see a lot more of it, which is quite interesting. I liked seeing like sort of the daily life of Bail Organa and his wife and Leia. It's something we've never gotten to see before, and it was quite an interesting experience, especially like the design of everything. It was just a beautiful place. I really enjoy the world itself. I just love everything about like the sets and everything. They all looked really good. Stuff like that, you know. This is all in just episode 1. I'm not going to mention the other ones from episode 2. Other one, that is. Let's see. What else did I like about this episode? Besides Ewan McGregor himself. I did enjoy seeing Ewan McGregor reprise his role. Oh, no. I really enjoyed the portrayal of Owen Lars. He really nailed his character. I really enjoy that. Like he even looks more like the actual character from the movie itself, which is quite interesting to be honest. I was not expecting that, and he does a really good job. I mean, of course, you don't exactly like his character because of how he is, but he does a good job at portraying that character accurately. And this is one of those characters that's like they're really good at being what they are. So even though you hate the character, you love what they are. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. You might understand what I'm saying though, but
I don't hate the character. He gave us one of the best memes ever.
that's true. Like you trained his father.
Yeah, that
No, that
Obi-Wan is legendary.
Yeah, that one hit really hard though. Like I was just thinking about how Obi-Wan must have felt hearing that. That's insane. You know, him saying that to him, which it makes sense for his character. And I honestly truly enjoyed his every part that he was in because it just felt right, you know, to see their interaction. Another thing that I really enjoyed was I'm trying to think of I'm thinking of both episode 1 and 2, and all my thoughts are jumbled up. Let's see, what was
Well,
it?
you're the one that split them up.
So why you? No, listen. I'm very excited to see Obi-Wan again, and for the first time, not for the first time, but for the first time in a while, I'm not like disappointed with the quality of the show. The Book of Boba Fett, I tried my best to be optimistic through the whole thing. There was times I couldn't be. There was times that really ripped my heart out. Cad Bane. Anyway, I'm still not over that, by the way. I'll never be over that. You kill Cad Bane right as soon as he shows up in live action. I'll never get over that. You never do that. Unless they show him here in Kenobi or something like that and give him some screen time as a live action character, I'm still not going to be happy about that. Anyway, don't get me back on ranting about Cad Bane's death. I was not ready for that. One of my favorite characters. Anyways, but
what if Cad Bane had killed Boba Fett in that duel?
That's a
Or
really good
what if they both
question.
killed each other? What if they both killed each other?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel because I love Boba Fett as well, but like the way they portrayed Boba Fett made it feel like he wasn't Boba Fett.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. Look, no, we've already done the discussions for the Book of Boba Fett. We can't go back.
Maybe it's for that reason. It's for the best. Cad Bane was put down. He was put down humanely.
Before they could ruin him.
Hey, look. Maybe he didn't die. You never know. There's theories about that. I mean, he did get shot in the head, and he had that metal plate on his head. Maybe he survived being stabbed in the heart too.
Well, that.
Yeah, that I know where you're going with that. Yeah.
The heart monitor thing was still blinking or whatever. I think it's what a heart monitor. I think that's what they said it was. So maybe he's still alive, and maybe I won't be mad about it if they bring him back. So anyway, somehow Cad Bane returned.
You beat me to that.
Oh gosh. Well, anyways, back to Kenobi. The sets were good. The world building, I think, was amazing. I mean, everybody knows how much I love world building, of course, because I love
I thought you
not
loved the
only
fans.
do I love the characters, I love learning about the world that they're in. I very much love like that kind of thing, because I don't want to just. That's sort of what I hate about one-off movies and TV shows that don't have anything else to them. It's just there as, I guess, a generic form of entertainment. I want something that has a deeper story to it. That the environment tells you the story, the cultures of the people can tell you stories. I love having a deeper meaning to a lot of things. So when I see a lot of world building, such as like, the big creature thing in Tatooine that I didn't know existed, and there's like this whole system of them extracting all the meat and all that stuff. Like, I didn't know they did that. I didn't know that those creatures existed. It's just a very interesting thing to find out that on Tatooine, those types of creatures that look like giant stingrays exist. Little things like that make me happy. Overall, the first episode, in my opinion, was really good. I only have a couple of nitpicks. Well, I shouldn't say that word. We know that triggers Surrey away. I do have a couple things about it, but that I'm saving that for
Pick
later.
some
It's
nits
nothing major.
instead.
Yeah, there you go. It's nothing major, in my opinion. I'm not going to rehash everything that everybody else has said. I agree wholeheartedly on how everybody felt about Leia. I love the casting for a lot of the characters. I agree with Commander Tano on Reva. At first, I was annoyed to the point where I didn't want to see her character, but then I rationalized it in my head, being like, maybe she's meant to be that way. Maybe she's meant to be a hateable character. And, the actress does a really good job at portraying the character. So nothing against the actress. There's nothing wrong with her acting. She does a good job. I have nothing against that. I just like the character herself makes me hate the character, like just the way she does things. More on that later.
You're really making it difficult to keeping this positive.
Shut it, Surrey. Your time will come. I'm taking a long time because I'm relatively a positive person. See, you're the complete opposite of me, which is why when it comes to positivity, I make up for the slack that you create. But when it comes to the negativity, you pick up the slack that I create. So we're perfect for each other in that regard.
Perfectly balanced.
What are you talking about? I am perfectly positive. I'm just
says your
extremely
2.3 seconds of
passionate.
positivity as opposed to my 2.3 minutes to your 2.3 seconds. Like, for every 2 seconds of your positivity, I'm coming up with like 2 minutes more.
I just don't like delusions.
Well,
I'm not going to call a spade a duck because people like ducks more.
Well, I didn't say the show was perfect. This isn't a 10 out of 10. I mean, there's a reason why I would probably call this first episode so far an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. It would have been better save a few things. But like I said, negativity comes next. I'm trying to think of what else I like and dislike in a way. How Obi-Wan leaves Tatooine. And what I mean by that is the reason why he left Tatooine. And I feel like it works.
I'm taking that for the negatives in my turn because, I have a bone to pick with that one.
There's ways it might have been done better, but honestly, I think it's a perfectly feasible reason to get him off of Tatooine. In my opinion, that is. But
yes,
I don't know. Is there really a better way to have gotten him off of Tatooine? To be honest.
So the reason I think so there are two things. We got the reason and the way to that reason. So the reason being Leia, I do think it's like, okay, if you were going to get Obi-Wan off Tatooine to leave Luke, the only, the best possible reason you could have is his sister, that's the only. So I'm glad that they made that the reason, because I think anything less than that would not be a sufficient reason. It could never be.
Agreed. Yeah.
But I think I feel like they could have maybe handled the way a little bit better. And not to get into negatives or not to get into episode 2. And I don't even know if this is a negative. It's more of just a question, a little loose end. I definitely agreed with Leia, like when she was asking at some point, like, "Hey, where's the army?" or like, "Where are my dad's people?" Basically, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a good question. It's like, it's the only thing, and maybe we'll see in the next episode that Bail Organa had some people on their way to help, but it just seemed really weird that it was like only this one person could accomplish this feat. But yeah, but I agree. I do think it was the best reason. And I think it's plausible with some like loose ends that could have maybe been tightened up.
Yeah. For me in this one, and I still have to reserve judgment because like the show's not over yet. So I'm not going to say one way or the other that this is a bad idea because I've not seen it pan out fully yet. So right now it's staying in the positive because yes, I mean, who else to get him off of Tatooine other than Leia? I mean, she is just as important as Luke, So, I mean, if it weren't for Leia, episode 4 wouldn't have happened, because she wouldn't have got that message to Obi-Wan in the first place. One thing I hope they don't do is reveal that he is Obi-Wan Kenobi to Leia. She only knows him as Ben so far. So as long as they don't reveal that he is Obi-Wan, I feel like it won't cause any major issues in the story because, in her hologram, she's like, "Years ago, you served my father in the Clone Wars." She's talking about him as if she's only heard about him secondhand, not actually meeting him. So as long as they don't reveal that he is Obi-Wan Kenobi to her in any way, shape, or form, I feel like it would still work this way. And there probably are some issues with this, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But the reason for him leaving Tatooine, I totally think is, this is one of the better ways to do it.
No, it's absolute crap.
We're in the positive section. You'll have your turns right away.
Then get to the negative.
We'll get there, okay? I'm the host here.
Open the negative floodgates for Saray away.
Other than that, I feel like that's the only positives I can think of off the top of my head. So to appease the growing anger in Saray away, we are going to the dark side right now. To the dark side.
Sir AOA is basically the Reva to your Grand Inquisitor. Like,
yeah.
He's eager to lop off limbs and.
No, I am not eager to love her. I would much rather be completely positive and happy and all this. But there is some crap that needs to be cut down, and
look,
I am going to be more than happy to do it.
Okay,
let's cut down that crap.
This is only for the first episode, though. Save your negativity for the second episode for later. We'll get to the second episode.
That we go to that chopping hand scene because the meme is now circulating that woman who got her hand cut off is now more Skywalker than Rey.
I was honestly happy to see somebody actually lose a limb on screen instead of, them being too afraid to show it and be like, oh, well, we don't want to show
Yeah.
a limb being cut off only for significant moments. So that's why you don't see. They were explaining why they wouldn't chop off limbs in Jedi Fallen Order, because when you cut up a stormtrooper, you'd think that somebody would lose a hand or something like that eventually, but no. So, anyways, their reasoning for that, I'm just happy to see a limb get chopped off. They didn't do it in the last Jedi. I mean, yeah, they cut Snoke in half
Okay.
and all that. Nobody's getting their hand chopped off in the second movie. It really bugs me. Anyways, I'm going on my own rant. Since Sir Aowe is super eager to get to the dark side, we'll go ahead and start from him and we'll go backwards. So, Sir Aowe, please do not take up 3 hours worth of our time with just the first episode. We do have a second episode to discuss. So, go ahead. Give us your thoughts. Like, what did you find that you didn't like about the first episode?
Everything to do that isn't Kenobi.
Okay.
So the Inquisitors, Leia, all of it, absolute trash.
Okay. Right.
Just
I just didn't laugh. mute
like
myself.
I said, there's a reason. There is a reason why I called Leia Ex Machina, because just the only reason she exists in that storyline is to get him off the planet, and it is one of the worst ideas that you could have come up with.
Elaborate on why you feel this way. You made her choke on her tea now.
I can hear the veins popping up into Leo's head.
No, it's. I think the Inquisitors are the wrong bad guys to be using. It's too involved with the Empire. It's too involved with the story that would be the original trilogy. It's just irks me so much. But I mean, you guys said, how can you get him off Tatooine? And the simplest one, the absolute most simplest one, an assassin comes for Luke. Not an Empire assassin, just an assassin.
Okay.
Because, well, Obi-Wan stops him. So what's the next step? Who the hell knows Luke? Who the hell knows who Luke is, and who the hell would send an assassin?
Yes, tell us who would that be?
Yeah.
There's half a dozen different sort of ways you can play it. You can do the whole force vision, and it could even be another Jedi who saw the future of the sequel trilogy and went, yeah, no, let's not do that. But I mean, the thing is that it's kept. You're able to keep it low key, and even if you wanted to throw Leia into the story, because for some reason we need to see both the Skywalkers in the Kenobi series, where would be the first place that Ben would go after an assassin tried to kill Luke? Bail Organa. So, you have him travel to Alderaan first, to find out, has something leaked from Alderaan, because there's only 2 people in the universe that knows who the hell Luke is.
3. Yoda.
Oh, well, sorry, 3. Sorry, I'm including Ben. But I mean, sorry, I was viewing it from Kenobi's viewpoint.
Oh, gotcha.
There's only 2 people in the universe that know about Luke and Luke's whereabouts, and that's Yoda and Bale. And I really don't think Yoda would know anything. Seeing how he's in a swamp. But the thing is that keeping it away from the Inquisitors, and I mean the thing is that it's not like you couldn't have the Inquisitors in the storyline, because, well, they're flying around the galaxy hunting. Kenobi might rock up to a planet and there's an Inquisitor. So it's not like you can't make this all feel oppressive and all this type of situation. But it would just be a good investigative adventure story, rather than, and no, I don't think we're going to get that anyway. But it's everything is just so contrived, and it's hilarious when Kathleen Kennedy goes, "Oh, we don't want to tie ourselves to the original characters," and then for Kenobi they tie themselves to the original characters.
Well, to be fair, I think they admitted that they did wrong with the sequel trilogy. Just recently.
Have they?
I think just recently that I don't remember the exact wording, but they were sort of admitting that they took the wrong approach with the sequel trilogy. Now, I don't think that means they're going to get rid of the sequel trilogy or anything like that, but they admitted it. I think it's actually her that did it too, Kathleen Kennedy. Like I said, I'm just staying away from a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah, she was. It was in the Variety interview. They talk about a lot of stuff, and she said that, and she also said that no one wants to work in Star Wars nowadays. She didn't say like.
Yeah, geez, I wonder why.
Yeah, she was like, you have to understand that we need to recruit people to work on this. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have to recruit. There should be a line of people outside Lucasfilm wanting to work with you, and there isn't.
Yeah, and we all know why. But I mean, the thing is that the first episode should have just been nothing but Kenobi dealing with his life on Tatooine. They've made the exact same.
Though.
No, because they had the Inquisitors and they had Leia, and
what I'm saying is they heard what he was doing with his life. It was like
what I'm saying is that that should have been the entire episode.
Just seeing him go to work and come back home and watch Luke.
No. But I mean, But I mean, the thing is that.
Just the whole episode, Obi-Wan cutting up meat, taking it home, riding his little camel thing or whatever to his house, and buying stuff from a Jawa that keeps stealing parts from him, stuff like that.
But no, not just like that. But I mean, the thing is that how does Obi-Wan keep Luke safe? Question mark, question mark, question mark. We did not get that. We just got him with binoculars at a very long distance of the farm.
Well, at this point in the story, they acted like they had a talk with Owen at some point, and Owen's sword just wants him to keep his distance.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very much, sorry, when it came to a lot of Kenobi's life on Tatooine, it felt very much like the opening scene of
The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens.
Yes. Yes. I actually thought it was a good way to start it off because it did better than the one on The Force Awakens.
But I mean, we're talking about a 5% better job than what happened on The Force Awakens. We're not talking about it being done right, and that's the thing. It wasn't done. It still wasn't done right.
Well, in my opinion, it felt like a new beginning type of thing. Like this is setting the precedent for what we'll be getting in the future, and it just felt like a new beginning type of thing for me. Now that might be why I like it so much.
But I didn't get that impression. Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying, and I understand they were probably going for that. But the thing is that it felt like we're just doing this so we can have Organa rock up and go, save my daughter. Not, this is what Kenobi would be doing after the prequel trilogy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
And it, everything in the first episode just felt contrived. It wasn't there because it was done natural. None of the scenes felt like this is what would happen in regular Star Wars life.
I get that.
Which is something that the originals and prequels did really well.
I see where you're coming from on that.
Even Mandalorian did this well, but for some reason, that's it. I would, I would give like Rogue One a pass on that whole type of situation because it was a lot more sort of focused, and it was more sort of like not meant to be showing regular life. But yeah, and that's kind of why I didn't like the first episode.
Well, in your opinion, what would you rate the episode out of 10? I just want to get a feel of how you feel about the episode, not just from what you didn't like. Because for you, I feel like you're giving it like a 5 out of 10.
No, you're getting really close to that.
I don't know. I feel like that is 5.5 because that's I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, and I do agree with everyone that it was shot well, and it was definitely a better look than Book of Boba Fett. And massive props to Ewan McGregor. He did a bang-up job, and so did Joel Edgerton.
Mm-hmm.
It actually makes me want to watch the scenes of the prequels that he was in, because he actually sounded more like the Owen from the original trilogy.
That's what I was saying. He does such a good job at that.
But I mean, that's kind of the funny thing and a bit of a sad thing. All of the actors and all of the actors from the prequel movies did a really good job. I just can't say that about the new characters. And a lot of it isn't solely their fault. I think which number brother was in the first episode?
The
I
fifth.
think fifth, yeah.
Fifth. I really think he was shafted. I think he was, but then again, I probably need to rewatch Rebels to really sort of figure out if they did a good job or not.
Honestly, I liked his portrayal, but he does, in a way, feel a little bit different than the one in Rebels.
Yeah.
But we didn't get a lot with them in Rebels.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, I don't think the Inquisitors should have been that major part of the storyline. So, of course, I'm going to be negative about them being there and doing what they're doing. But it just very much feels sort of like Boba Fett again. A good idea, a better story that could have been done if they weren't so hell-bent on doing what they're doing.
Go ahead. No, go.
But well, the probably the last thing that I sort of want to say is, did anyone notice in the credits that
Ewan McGregor was the executive producer?
No, that would have been obvious. But no, there was no Jon Favreau.
No, I never noticed that.
Really?
And Dave Filoni only got a special thanks.
Yeah, they were talking about that on Twitter.
Huh. I wonder about that now because, I didn't notice that before.
And it sort of it does sort of make me wonder why the two female leads tend to be very girl boss.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, for me, I didn't exactly feel that way about one of them. But, that's just me.
No, I mean, the thing is that it's, I mean, I guess I should talk about this now because I've been kind of avoiding it. But I think I know where Snoke came, and I don't think it was a test tube. I think it was. I think Snoke's a horribly disfigured Reaver. And parted her training to Kylo, and that's why we have Kylo Ren who slashes millions of dollars worth of technology because he was a little bit angry.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead. Keep going.
But yeah, everything that everyone was worried about when it came to Reva was completely accurate, in my viewpoint. She's overly competent.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't see her as overly competent.
The cantina scene.
Well, I mean, that one in a way makes sense she threw the knife because I mean, of course she like the other scene where she just chopped somebody's hand off. She's impulsive, like the
I saw it
Fifth
more as
brother said.
that, honestly. I saw it more as a tantrum kind of thing.
Yeah, like she's too eager.
Yeah, but
Well,
I
yeah,
mean
that.
the thing is that we don't see the negative consequences to that.
Yes.
Yeah, that I agree on. Yeah.
I'm
don't
still
see the
holding
negative.
off for later.
It's yet again, because we're only doing episode 1. It's really
We need to move on to episode 2 and just get into it because I feel like
Yeah, well, episode 2 is a very different conversation than episode 1.
but
That is very true.
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't know if this term would really work, but it's almost almost sort of like a dark Mary Sue type of situation. She comes up with the plan to get Kenobi. She finds the hidden Jedi. She's the one that traps. Oh nope, sorry, that's episode 2.
Yes, let's stick to episode 1 for the moment.
She does the hand chopping.
She does the hand chopping and the knife throwing.
She's the active one while everyone else is passive and holding her down.
I feel like they were trying not to make a scene, but she's like, I don't care, I'm going to make a scene.
But yeah, the thing is that there's a lot of toing and froing, because the thing is that you don't want to turn the entire population against you, so just randomly walking up and lopping off a hand and creating another Skywalker.
I think it was the right hand that they chopped off too, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was her right hand. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, she's a Skywalker. All the Skywalkers lose a right hand.
But
Leia, of course, but she's more of an Organa, so
or a Solo,
or that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there because it's
because this is
an episode. Yeah.
All right. Well, before you can think of something else, I'm moving on to Commander Tano. Commander Tano, go ahead. What did you feel that you didn't totally like in this episode?
See, it's like I feel like I've almost got to kind of reserve this for the second episode because once again, it's just kind of, and it's not necessarily negatives. It's more of I'm kind of reserving judgment presently on some certain things. I just, it's like I've got a list of things I've got some questions about. One thing, obviously, the main thing that I have so many questions about is, did they actually kill the Grand Inquisitor or not? But that is not for episode 1.
I had a
1,
gut feeling that was what you were gonna.
Yeah.
I actually, it's interesting. I did a poll. Let's see where it is now. I asked, do you think who actually killed who? I've got. Well, in the lead, it's no. Second place is they fly now. But I also
fly now.
Yes. I also allowed for No One's Ever Really Gone. That got a lot, but there are some people who voted yes. And it seems also there are a lot of, just from what I've seen on Twitter, there seem to be quite a surprisingly larger than I would have expected number of people who think that he was killed.
Yeah, but then again, have they watched Rebels?
The thing is, I think some of them have, and that's why I think there are some people who think that
They're decanonized.
Disney is actually breaking continuity with their stuff.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of theories besides that too.
Yeah.
So they can get the bestest ever Inquisitor Reva.
Well, I don't think they'd go that far, to be honest.
Really?
Not to break that much continuity. Like,
see, yeah, I think what actually is going to happen, and yeah, I'm jumping ahead. What's actually going to happen is he's not dead. Of course, he's not dead. No one's ever really gone. He's not dead. But
he just gets a new robot stomach.
But here's my kind of crazy but not crazy prediction of what they're gonna try and do. He's not dead. They can, as you can tell, you can like lose your whole stomach and get it replaced. Whatever, they'll fix him up. I'm sure the Empire's got plenty of. They've got all these, if like Boba Fett can find someone to replace Fennec Shan's stomach, like in the middle of the desert, like then they can patch up the Grand Inquisitor. He'll be fine.
And let's not forget that, someone almost burnt to death from lava and they've kept them alive.
Exactly. But my prediction then is that, so what I think that it's possible that they might do with Reva is now you've got a situation where, okay, you just put you put a lightsaber through your boss. You're definitely getting fired.
Out of the cannon!
Does that get you promoted? It doesn't work like that?
Or the airlock. Out of the airlock. And
what I think is going to happen, here's the Disney kind of Disney-fied version of what I think will happen, is you're going to have, now Reva and Obi-Wan have something in common because they both thought they killed someone, and then they didn't. And now she can't be an Inquisitor anymore because she just tried to kill her boss. And, and so she's just going to be kind of going rogue. Who knows what she's going to be doing. And then they will give her opportunity to do soul searching and whatever. And I don't know, maybe she'll get a redemption death or who knows. But yeah.
The thing that you hate the most.
Yeah. I'm fine with a redemption death for her because I don't care about her. I think it's more of it's like, she's just kind of funny. Like she amuses me. And so it's like it's more of characters that I care about. It's like, no, I don't want redemption deaths. I want them to be happy. So I'm fine if they...
You amuse me. You can come back and die for a good reason.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what I think is probably that. It may not happen, but I just feel like that's kind of what Disney would do. That said, what I kind of, there's a part of me that actually would kind of hope that the Grand Inquisitor actually is dead. Not because that I do disagree with the kind of the Mary Sue, gutting him and all of that, even though he clearly had a costume that wouldn't allow him to move his arms, so it's not a surprise he was gutted. It's really, it doesn't take a Mary Sue to kill someone in that costume. It's like it's not all that remarkable, but I do kind of like the idea because if they actually did that, and once again, I don't think they would. I think Disney wants one closed canon that they have this whole control over. But if they did, I'd be like, okay, I like that in the sense that it's like, okay, you basically then, if you did that, and I get that they have, like with The Mandalorian, The Bad Batch in different ways, kind of pushed the boundaries of, the the kind of the Disney corporate canon, but they haven't ever gone so far as to killing a character like when he's not supposed to be killed. If they
Yeah, but
actually
you've got to
did
remember.
that, then we could all say, okay, there's no such thing as one canon anymore. Let's just like forget about that and just let's have a multiverse. And that's the thing, and have not just two canons but as many. Like people can just we can have multiple Boba Fett and Obi-Wan series. We can and we can have different. We can, you know what I mean, like just like, and then people can just pick and choose what they like.
But that works for something like comic books.
I get it,
Not
but
something
Star Wars
that
does technically have some comics.
yeah. I mean, that's sort of a thing that you can have in a comic book superhero universe. This is meant to be just one. And I mean, the thing is that you can have, you might be able to do back in time because Rebels has left that door open. But I mean, the one thing you've got to remember is that the Grand Inquisitor was in Rebels, which was a Disney Star Wars thing, not before Disney. So,
and that's why I don't think they killed him. But
I don't think so
if
either.
they actually did, then then that would be very interesting. Yeah.
It might not have even been him, if you think about it. But look, that's
is the thing,
episode
is it
2
him?
topics. Yeah, exactly. But we'll get into that later with the theories about that. Do you have?
It's like his cousin with a different shaped head. That's the thing. It's not him.
Yes. A lot of people are speculating that he's not the real Grand Inquisitor, that he was the one before the new Grand Inquisitor. There's other speculations. One I'll go into later when we talk about episode 2. But,
it was a robot.
Well, anyways, you got anything else that you disliked about the first episode? Or rather, want us to talk about?
I don't really have any comments about episode 1. Yeah, that's the unfortunate. Okay. Most of my comments, positive or negative at this point, a lot of them are all episode 2 territory.
Okay. All right. And, well, we'll just, if you ain't got anything else to say, we'll just go on to Chrono then real quick. Go ahead, Chrono. What did you not like about the first episode?
Well, with the Leia situation, it's like I like seeing Leia here. I really like the kid, the way she plays the character, and I think what we are being shown works. And I also agree with the fact that it's a good enough reason for him to leave the planet. But here's what I don't like about it. First, they are breaking canon about them meeting before. And as you said, it wouldn't be a problem if she doesn't know who he really is, if she only knows him by Ben. This is obviously what they're going for. But they are not even doing a good job about it because she already knows he's a Jedi. And she's too smart not to figure out who he is.
Oh, so, God, yes.
So if you're trying to sell me that, oh yeah, he only knows him as Ben, but in the same show you're also trying to sell me on the fact that she's this awesome kid who can do anything and who's super smart, then you're writing yourself into a corner because she's very likely to figure out who he actually is. Even if she doesn't do it in this show, it's like, oh yeah, years later or maybe months later, she was like, oh, she put 2 and 2 together. And yeah, that was the guy my father was always talking to me about, even if he doesn't reveal who he is.
Oh, so, God.
So yeah, I have that issue with it because they really are breaking that whole thing that she called for his help because she knows he's a reliable person her father looked up to, but she never met him before.
Well,
hang on, I just realized the fact that she
You opened up a
knows
can of
he's a
worms.
Jedi now completely changes how Leia should have behaved after Ben's death in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Because the thing is
That
that
would be for episode 2, but yeah, what you're saying is pretty accurate.
what I'm sort of getting at. Oh crap! It is 2. You just got me on the. I'll just continue on. The thought. But no. But I mean, the thing is that the way Leia behaves in episode 4 acted as somebody who is just trying to support Luke and had no knowledge or no connection to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
She would be a lot more distraught. She would be a lot more distraught knowing the guy that saved her from a really dangerous situation just died as well.
Yeah.
So we just all have to admit that the character we're seeing in Kenobi is not Leia Organa, it's Leia Ex Machina, and we will see the real Leia Organa in episode 4. But that's movie episode 4, not.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh God! The more you think, think about it, the more you just.
You know, that's actually possible. Wait, that is. You know, at the in the episode when initially you think, oh, you're going to see Leia, and they're out like actually dressing up another like.
Yeah.
So what if this girl that we saw that is Leia Ex Machina, and that's not
Leia Organa.
It's another replacement.
Yeah, the kidnappers got the wrong Leia.
They just sent Obi-Wan on a wild goose chase for no reason.
That would be funny.
Leia runs into Bale's arms, and then Bale presses a button on the back of her neck, and she shuts down.
Anyways, continue on, Chrono.
That would be the Leia part that bothers me is that, and also the other fact about the Leia subplot that doesn't really click with me is that when Bale goes to ask Kenobi for help, and I think they really did a good job of showing him both reluctant to go into an adventure because he's like, no, I don't really want to be involved in this kind of thing. And the other, he tells him he can't leave Luke alone. And that's where I have a problem, because the show tries to make it look like, oh yeah, you can leave Luke. It's totally fine. You should prioritize this girl. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the girl needs saving. But this is not... So as far as they know, as far as Bale and Obi-Wan know, she's just being kidnapped because she's a princess. They don't know the stakes. They don't know Reba is behind it. They don't know they might discover she's a Skywalker. Nothing of that about that is in play. And Bale still is willing to sacrifice the boy, even though he knows the boy is her brother, and he's as important as her. And he's like, yeah, you go save my daughter, screw the boy. And it's like, why would you do that? I mean, I can accept the fact that you need to get Obi-Wan off planet. Okay, you're going to do it, but don't do it that way because it makes it look like Luke doesn't matter, and
And
that
see
makes no
that's
sense.
go on, continue.
Yeah, and that makes no sense because the only reason Obi-Wan is there is because of Luke. And you're going to tell me that he's just as easily going to look like, oh yeah, Luke will be fine. I'll just go. And it's like, yeah, really? Are you really okay with leaving this kid unattended? And you know there are inquisitors in the planet looking for people. You really gonna leave the kid alone?
And you see, that's why I reckon the assassin sent after Luke idea works a lot better than the Inquisitors being the bad guy and getting him off planet.
Yeah, I think in this case with this show the issue is in the details. It some of the stuff they choose to do makes it seem like they don't really care. Like, we need to move the plot forward to this point. Do whatever. That's how some of the decisions seem. And the execution is not bad, but it makes a lot of holes. And the last thing Star Wars needs at this point are plot holes because it's already got too many. If you're just going to create more and you're going to say like, oh yeah, this can totally happen, and a lot of people are not going to buy it. And okay, that's for the Leia part and that decision. Now for the Reva part, I'm not against the Reva character. I mean, the character works. I think depicting her as this angry woman who has clearly some specific agenda to get to Vader and to get his favor or whatever, that's okay. But the problem is they are doing what Disney has been doing for both Marvel and Star Wars for a while now. They feel the need to downplay the male characters to lift up the females. That's not cool. The Grand Inquisitor deserved better, and he's not getting that. He's coming across like this clumsy boss who is just shutting you down for no reason. And it's not cool because I don't mind Reva being super cool. I mind you trying to sell me on the Grand Inquisitor being an idiot because he wasn't. He was a cool character. Also, I know I was the one. I remember we had this conversation about people hating on Deborah Chow because they didn't like what she had done previously with directing. And I was like, yeah, no, she was doing fine. But in this show, she's not doing fine. The chase scene with Leia and the bounty hunter is a mess. It's a complete mess.
Nobody else had mentioned it, and I thought I was going to have to be the one to mention it.
No.
Oh, you mean the chase scene in the forest?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if that was episode 1 or 2, so that's why.
Yeah, that was episode 1, and it was terrible. It was awfully short, and it was inconsistent. One of the attackers comes from the right at her, and that was the guy who ran to the left. And I was like, really? I mean, how dumb do you think we are? And then
it's Lucasfilm after KK under KK. They think you're really, really dumb.
Yeah, I guess they do. And also, like I was telling you before, the issue with the way the Grand Inquisitor walks and he looks like he can't move his arms. I mean, do you not see that in post-production? Are you looking at the screen and you're not paying attention to that detail? And there's also there was this other thing that really bugged me. The Jedi, the guy who gets killed. I mean, the guy shows up behind Obi-Wan. Like, how did you know where to find him? Were you following him? Because, okay, you're looking for him, you know he's there, but he shows up right after he was spying on Luke, and he just finds him like that in the middle of the desert. It's like, does he have a tracker or something? Can he feel him? Which he shouldn't be able to, because they are supposed to be able to conceal their presence, which he's probably doing to avoid the Inquisitors, so they cannot play that card like, oh yeah, I felt your presence. No, you can say you did. So how did you find him?
I can
By
see why that would be
using
a
by
little
using
off-putting.
the power of the script.
Yeah. There are a lot of those situations in this show, and episode 1 is not as bad. Episode 2 has a lot of those directing issues. Like, how do we do this? It doesn't matter, just do it. And it's like, yeah, but you need to present it in a way that it makes sense, not just putting it random stuff here and there.
But you're forgetting flashy lights and pew pew and bang.
That's another thing. We didn't get a lightsaber fight in the first episode, and we should have. That Jedi guy was the missed opportunity. You don't want Obi-Wan to use his lightsaber? Fine. Make this guy fight the fifth brother. That was very simple to do. It would have worked fine, and you didn't do it. You show us this guy hanging from the entrance to the town, and that's it. They kill him. End of story.
Hence why the Inquisitors were the wrong antagonists.
I mean, if you're going to put them there, at least use them. Have them face someone.
Yeah, they were like weirdly both over and underutilized.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, the scene when they arrive at the bar looking for this guy, the way he escapes from these people it's like he threw a couple of cloth things and they didn't follow him. Why?
Because they needed the script to happen.
That scene was awfully shot because he escaped in a very ridiculous way, and it made them the three Inquisitors look like they were very incompetent there because they couldn't catch the guy in front of them, surrounding him.
Oh, but you know the reason they couldn't capture them was because the men were too busy telling Reva how beneath them she is and how incompetent she is.
Yeah. And the last thing I'm going to say about the first episode, it's also again an issue with details. In the last moment when we see Obi-Wan taking the transport off planet, after he made this huge deal about the lightsabers, he shows he's on camera. I mean, what are you thinking?
And shows it to the public really easily. Yeah, because you know that was totally something that someone who's hiding would do.
Especially if he was coming back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's the guy that had the lightsaber. But hence why the Inquisitors were the wrong antagonists.
All right. So, you got anything else to say about that, Chrono, or is it?
Oh, that would be it.
Okay. I'm gonna make this very brief because, like I said, I enjoyed the episode, and I can see a lot of the things that you guys are saying, and I can agree with them. But at the same time, that wasn't the thing that occurred to me when I first watched it. Well, okay, the lightsaber thing did, the Leia chase scene thing. Like what was negative to me was just small things. One thing that did bug me is that there was this other Jedi on Tatooine, and the Inquisitors came to Tatooine. I feel like that scene could have worked better on a different planet, and then them talking about Obi-Wan, and then after they get done talking about Obi-Wan and going after that Jedi, the Jedi escapes maybe to Tatooine, gets caught there. But I mean, if they have to go back to Tatooine, but honestly, I don't think they should. I don't think the Inquisitors should have ever showed up on Tatooine. I feel like for if they really wanted the Inquisitors to get involved, they could have sort of done what they did by kidnapping Leia. But honestly, in a way, it's sort of. I mean, there is a few issues with that too. I mean, like I said, it's one of the better. Well, I mean, it's one of the better ways to do it, but there could have maybe been a better way to use that reason to get him off of Tatooine. Yeah. And I'm not going to go into that right now because you guys have already sort of touched on that stuff. So,
and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Shade. I completely disagree. It was the worst option to choose, not the best.
Well,
to get him off the planet. It was
we can agree to disagree.
This is 2022. That cannot happen. Where have you been the last 2 years? This is 2022. You cannot agree to disagree.
There's nothing wrong with various.
Yeah, we need opinions. To fight it out and bleed.
Okay.
Internet Blood Sports 3.5.
Look, I'll win because I'll do this. All right, there we go. One already. I hope you understand your position now, Sir AOA.
Got the high ground.
Never!
I have the high ground. It's over, Sir AOA. I have the high ground.
Yeah, you think that means anything? I won't. Yeah, of course, I won't jump up in the air. I'll just come at you. I'll just come at your feet. Have we lost Shade?
Seems
I
like
think we've lost Shade.
I think you won.
Yes! The power! Oh, dear.
What do we do now?
Well, how was everyone's weekend?
Bar prep.
Oh, okay.
Icky.
I went to the footy and watched my team win by 53 points. So they smashed them.
That must have been satisfying.
Yes. The thing that was a bit of a downer was that frankly it should have been 25 points more. But the thing is that my team is now fourth on the ladder. The opposition team was 16th, so yeah. It was one of those sort of games that they should have won no matter what. And the only big question was by how much. The betting had my team at I think $1.05 to win. Like none of the money, no one was betting for any score under 30.
Most impressive.
But I mean, the thing is that the opposition team did a good job at sort of gumming up the works. So it wasn't. It didn't allow my team to have a sort of like free flowing.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, he's back.
Well, I'm on my phone, so
this might not sound too good. My computer died again, so I don't know how bad I sound on here, and unfortunately, the
you sound
beautiful
fine.
image
You sound
is
fine.
gone. But you gotta make do. Anyways, where was I? Oh wait, no, my computer's working again. Yay! I'll just I'll be back again. Well, I want to make sure it's working before I leave.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I think
it's working.
in the meantime, I think we should move on to episode 2.
I didn't finish yet.
Oh, you have more to say
Yes, I had more to say.
on the negatives? You?
I know it's a little odd. Give me just a second to get my proper mic working here.
Okay.
All right, and I'm going to bring back the beautiful image I had selected because Obi-Wan is beautiful. Almost as beautiful as Hauser's hair.
I was going to ask.
So if it were Obi-Wan with Hauser's hair?
Oh,
it's hard to really choose between those two.
No. If it was Obi-Wan with Hauser's hair.
With-
Oh, I
no
thought you
choosing.
said- oh, now that right there, I don't know. I don't know if I would.
No,
say
it wouldn't
Obi-Wan
fit.
the least. Yeah, I don't think it would fit. It fits Hauser, but I don't think it fits Obi-Wan. I think
It's the
Obi-Wan
beard.
just works the way he
It's quite interesting the amount of thought you have given this.
Yeah, what,
He's
you
a hair
never
guy.
gave it that much thought? You never gave it that much thought? Okay. I guess
No.
me, the only one? Okay. Well, anyways, where was I before my internet died? It was sort of my internet. I think it was both my internet and my computer a bit. My computer wouldn't connect to the internet. My internet's just terrible. So, where was I? I was talking about my small nitpicks. Okay, yeah. Most of what I thought about negatively in this episode, which wasn't much for me, you guys had already covered. The one thing I didn't like is the Inquisitors showing up first thing on Tatooine. I feel like they could have really started it off differently, and by that I mean they could have went to a different planet, and then they could have still had the discussion about looking for Obi-Wan, and still done the thing where they stole or not stole, but kidnapped Leia. If they had to go that route, they could have still done that without going to Tatooine in the first place. They could have not made that interaction between Obi-Wan and that Jedi, but he could have, like, when he went to whatever planet that they had been to, because they probably would have brought Leia to the planet that they're on right now, or Reva would have. He could have seen that Jedi maybe hanging if they had to do that sort of hanging bit with the Jedi. And he could have probably deducted that, oh, this is the Jedi they were looking for or whatever, and this is what they did to him. And,
This was the Jedi you were looking for.
They really could have handled that a little bit differently, in my opinion. But in my opinion, it didn't ruin it for me, like me personally when I watched it. But I did sort of dislike that they were on Tatooine. But I mean, two Jedi
it makes
hiding
sense.
on the same planet, it sort of. I mean, it's not like unbelievable, but for this kind of story, I feel like that's something they shouldn't have shown, at least not right now.
And actually, they probably should have given the dead Jedi more of a backstory, because all we sort of got was, "Oh, you're Obi-Wan Kenobi," not
I'm
why is that? Yeah, why did he seek Obi-Wan, or was it just happenstance? Why the hell did he rock up to Tatooine? yeah, it's
Well, yeah, they could have handled some of that stuff a little bit differently, but all in all, I give the episode an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm generally a very positive person. It takes everybody knows this about me. It don't take much to make me happy. I mean, just getting to see more of Obi-Wan made me pretty happy. And I don't feel like they
so in other
ruined.
words,
Huh? Go ahead.
so in other words, the episode was actually a 2 for you, and it was just because Obi-Wan gave him the 6 points.
Not necessarily. I mean,
Oh, was it 7?
it wasn't the episode itself without Obi-Wan would have been a 7. The extra point is for being a show about Obi-Wan.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I mean, because no, actually, if this wasn't related to Star Wars, it actually would have been a lot better. It would have been rated higher, but where it is Star Wars and there is some small issues, it could have been a 10 out of 10. I mean, or 9 out of 10 actually. That whole Leia chase scene would have ruined it if it wasn't a Star Wars episode. And that's also what sort of drug down my there's 2 things that drug my rating down from 9 out of 10 to 8 out of 10, and that was, or 10 out of 10 to 8 out of 10, because those 2 things took 2 points off alone. The Leia chase scene, of course, which was sort of ridiculous. it gave me speeder bike chase from Book of Boba Fett vibes. Like major Book of Boba Fett vibes on that one. And the Inquisitors showing up right off the bat on Tatooine. Other than that, I would have ranked that episode a 10 out of 10 right off. Because, like I mentioned earlier in the positives, I really enjoyed getting to see Alderaan. I liked seeing Bail Organa be a father to Leia. I thought that little, the dialogue between them was pretty nice. I honestly think they did really good with Leia's character. And as far as, where she only knows him as Ben, and you think that she would have put 1 and 2 together to make 3. I feel like where she never mentioned that Obi-Wan Kenobi was a Jedi. She only knew about a man called Obi-Wan Kenobi. She never said that he was a Jedi in episode 4. I don't think she even knew, like, Obi-Wan was a Jedi. She just knew that he was a man that had served with her father in the Clone Wars.
On Tatooine?
Huh?
Oh, actually, I don't know.
No, I'm talking about how Leia, knows Ben as a Jedi, but she doesn't know Obi-Wan as a Jedi. And what I mean by that is, like, when she mentions in that recording to Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 4, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars, now he begs you to help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope. She never mentioned once that she knew he was a Jedi. Let's see. All right, all right, Commander Tono, I got you. Anyways.
Yeah, I actually have to run and hate to bail out. I got an early day tomorrow, but I feel like I've said a lot that I would have said regarding the episode 2 anyway.
You did mention a lot about episode 2, but next time when we review the next episode, we'll also get your opinion a little more on episode 2, because I feel like you had more to say.
Well, it'll be interesting because with that, I think the next episode will determine how I feel about a bunch of different things in episode 2.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to hold off the episode 2 discussion until episode 3? Because I kind of agree with Lady
I do agree. Episode 2, we can explain why we feel this way in a little bit, but I do agree that we should sort of save the major discussion of episode 2 till next time. So we can save the positives and negatives for later. We can just say why we feel that way later. But yeah, I agree. We'll save that for next time around.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, we
Sure.
spent 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 22 seconds talking about episode 1. I'd hate to see what happens when we get to episode 2.
Oh
Well,
my.
episode 1 was pretty long, so there was
It
more
was.
to
It was. There
more
was a
to
lot
go
going
after.
on. All right. Well, you have a good night, Commander Tano, and I hope you have a good day tomorrow.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Have fun, and good luck studying.
Thank you. See y'all.
Mm-hmm. See ya. All right. Anyway, so where was I at? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that's why I halfway disagree with how you guys feel about, Leia knowing who Obi-Wan is. Because I feel like you can justify it a little bit, at least in my opinion. You can justify her knowing about Ben being a Jedi and still not knowing who Obi-Wan is due to the fact that she never mentioned once that she knew Obi-Wan was a Jedi in the first place. She never mentioned that she was that Obi-Wan was a Jedi. So it would in a way make sense.
Did she mention that he was a general?
I'd have to go back and listen to the recording.
Yeah.
But I don't think she did. But I'm going to look that up in just a second, though. But, before I do that, there's one other thing I wanted to say about that. If you remember in Star Wars Episode 4, Luke comes up to Leia saying, "I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. I'm here with Ben Kenobi." And she just gets up, recognizing Ben's name and then Kenobi. That could either mean one of two things. One, she knew Ben was Obi-Wan.
I'm. Now you're making me want to watch bloody New Hope again just to get this all clear, because I'm pretty sure he said Obi-Wan Kenobi, not
he
Ben
said
Kenobi.
Ben. He said Ben. Trust me, I've had a lot of time to think about this one because I always wondered why she would react like that, because she asked for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then here comes some random guy saying that he's here with Ben Kenobi, and she's like, Ben Kenobi, and yeah, you need to go back and watch that scene to get the context I'm talking about. But he comes in saying that he's here with Ben Kenobi, and she gets up saying Ben Kenobi, and as if she recognized the name. So there's one of two things that it can mean: either she put two and two together and realized that Obi-Wan is Ben right at that moment, and was surprised to hear that, or she had known the entire time. So that can be evidence to what you guys claimed, but it can also be evidence to what I claimed. It's just up to interpretation, like we talked about a few Star Wars Topics episodes ago, that certain things in episode 4 can be left up to interpretation. I feel like that's one of them. And I feel like you can sort of justify her not knowing who Obi-Wan is, but knowing who Ben is. With that said, I can't judge that yet until the show is over. So if he does reveal himself to be Obi-Wan, then that would overall make that recording make no sense, because she talks about Obi-Wan as if she had only heard about him secondhand. Like her father just talking about him. She's like, well, this is a message to a guy I don't know, but my father knows you. So hopefully you can help us, that kind of thing. So I'm going to reserve that for either positive or negative. It's positive at the moment because she doesn't know who Obi-Wan is, but it can be negative if he does reveal himself. And, for more context, I probably will go back and rewatch some of those scenes, because this all does have a lot to do with A New Hope. So I may go back and watch A New Hope or something like that just to get a little more context before the next episode, and then we can get a little more into that.
I did check, and he did say Ben Kenobi, which is
okay. See, that either lends favor to your argument or it lends favor to mine. It's just up to interpretation, and we won't know for sure until the end of this episode.
Yeah,
Or
but
the
but then
series.
again, it still puts the way she behaved in the Millennium Falcon in doubt.
Well, I need to rewatch that too because I'd like to read the emotions and see it, for what it is with this new information. So it puts a lot of things into a new perspective. So rewatching it might help me understand. But then again, I might wait and reserve my judgment for the end of the Kenobi series and then watch Star Wars Episode 4 directly afterwards so I can have a bit more input on the series because I want to try to figure out what works and what doesn't. So that's going to be my thought process on that. So I'm reserving everything for when the series is over. As far as right now, I'm positive about it. Save for a few things, like I've already mentioned. But let's go ahead and get a couple things from episode 2 that we'll get more into next week. But let's get a couple of things straight here. We're saving episode 2 for a reason for next week for a reason, due to the fact that there's so much there. Like we've mentioned it a lot, but the stabbing of the Grand Inquisitor, and there's so many different things we can talk about with that alone.
Yep. It'd be another hour.
It could be. Which you guys would like that. 4 for 4, right?
4 for 4. 4 for 4.
Yeah.
So we kind of missed that.
Huh?
We kind of missed that this year.
We did, but I've been incredibly busy myself lately. I was so busy last Sunday, I completely forgot it was Sunday, and I didn't even. When I read in the Discord that are we streaming today or what? And I'm like, wait a second, what is today? I was so busy that week. I didn't even have time to think for myself, much less about this or anything like that. So yes, I do apologize. I'm terrible at being a host for a channel. But
not saying anything.
Not say okay. Well, I guess that could mean one of two things. Either you're agreeing with me, or like you don't want to interrupt my rant about myself. Anyways, we'll just leave it at that. I'm going to say that you don't think so. That you think I'm the best host ever. Okay, and just don't say anything. Okay, I just want to believe that. Let me feel happy. I want to feel happy for a little bit. It's been a rough week. Okay?
Putting pin away.
Okay. Anyways, as far as episode 2, there is a lot to be discussed. I had a few extra negatives just specifically for that episode. Actually, that's where I had the most problem. I did enjoy a lot of aspects of the episode. I also didn't enjoy a couple other things, and we'll get into that next week. My rating for that episode is more of a 7 out of 10. Due to the ending where the Grand Inquisitor got stabbed, but we can talk about all that next week. Actually, I'd love to hear one thing. What did you guys think of the Galactic Bake Off? You're both here. Commander Tano isn't here, unfortunately, to give her opinion. But you're both here, and you know what? I may have opened a can of worms that might have also caused us to stay here for another hour or so. So just say give us a short answer, like what did you think? And I think, was it me and you, Soraya, that talked about it a little bit?
No, it was me and you.
Oh, it was me and you, Chrono.
No, you kind of did it both.
Oh, I did it with both of you. That's right, I did. That's right. Yeah, I kind of mentioned it with both of you because I wanted to wait for a full episode where we're all here together to do that. But Well, that never happened. But that's okay. It wasn't really something to write home about. It, But
No.
now that I have you both here, just give me short. This will be the last thing that we do since we're saving episode 2 for next week. This will be the last
Okay,
thing
hang
that
on,
we
Shay.
do tonight.
Shay, I'm gonna say this.
Okay.
It won't be short.
Okay. Never mind.
Do you really want to pull the trigger then?
I don't think I want to pull the trigger. Now that you say that, I mean,
We're
because
doing
we've already
episodes
been
2 and
here.
3?
Huh?
We're doing episodes 2 and 3 next week.
Yeah, 2 and 3 next week. Plus, if you do want to do some if you have ideas of your own when it comes to certain things, and you want to watch Star Wars Episode 4, do that because that will help us understand some of the things that we're talking about. Because I knew there were certain things that bothered me about Episode 4, about how before this show ever came out, I always wondered why she reacted to Ben Kenobi like she did. I mean, she probably, because how I rationalized it back then is well, she recognized the last name and she probably figured that he also goes by Ben or something like that. So she reacted like, oh, it's Obi-Wan, but,
I always got
now,
the impression, watching that movie, I always got the impression that she never knew him. That like she was, like when she sent the message, it was like, okay, my father always told me about this guy we could rely on if things ever got tough. So she sent the message to him. But it never struck me as like someone she had met previously. I always had that feeling that she didn't know who he was. She just knew he existed.
Yeah.
Knew of him, didn't know him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least she doesn't think that she knows him, because now that we've gotten this, see, that was our perspective before this came out. Our perspective now is that we now know that she knows who Obi-Wan is without actually knowing who Obi-Wan is, at least until the series is over. We don't know if he reveals himself as Obi-Wan to her or not.
But if that's what they're going for, it's really dumb. It doesn't work.
Yep.
I really hope they don't do that, because you cannot sell us super smart Leia who doesn't realize who the guy saving her is. It's one or the other.
Well, like I was telling Soraya earlier, I think you weren't here for that part. She never mentions Obi-Wan as being a Jedi. And yeah, you can maybe put 2 and 2 together or whatever and be like, well, this could have been the same man that saved me years ago, but she may not have known that he was a Jedi in the first place.
That's not possible, because she wanted him to lift her up and make her float.
Well, I'm talking about Obi-Wan, the guy that her father talks about. Maybe he never mentioned he was a Jedi.
Talking about episode 4.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but you're still relying on this premise that she doesn't figure it out, and I don't think that's possible.
Well, it may be more of a situation of she may know, but she doesn't have any proof that it's the same person.
Still, it's so much of a stretch that it's almost a snap.
I think you're confusing the brothers. Luke is the dumb one. he's got a lot of heart, but he's really dumb. But she's super smart.
No, that is incredibly unfair to Luke. Luke is smart, but just in a different way.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to come up with any of the possible ways that this could work out, and I mean, whether they're dumb or not, I guess it's up to everybody else to
the thing is,
say. But
the thing is, Shade, is that you shouldn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can speculate now, but we have to wait till the series is over before we actually.
Yeah. I mean, we can speculate. But the thing is that, like I said, at this present moment, we are trying to stretch the lore so much that it's probably already snapped.
Maybe. But
That's
we won't know 100% until it's over,
And-
which is why I'm reserving most
also-
of my judgment.
yeah. And also, to put it really, really simply, Disney hasn't deserved it.
Maybe not.
Well,
No.
sorry, Disney Lucasfilm has not deserved this level of attempt.
Well,
Also,
like I said-
it's
like
them. They are the ones creating these problems in the first place because they put the story and the characters in these positions, and then we are left to like Saraya is saying, we are left to try and fill in the blanks, and that's not cool because it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, and it contradicts something that happens in the future, but you figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're supposed to do it in a way that it doesn't contradict itself.
well,
And this is The Force Awakens all over again.
except better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean-
You got to give me that
But-
at least.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's The Force Awakens all over again. The fans are left trying to fill in the semi-truck wide holes that are being left open by Disney. And the thing is that fans shouldn't be needing to do this to make it make sense.
Well, let me play devil's advocate for just a second. And I'm not saying that it excuses anything. But the prequels did also create certain plot holes.
Oh yeah, they
And
do.
when I say
Like
that,
which
I'm
ones?
talking about like how so remember in Star Wars Episode 5, I think Obi-Wan said that Yoda had, taught him. Well, that's not true now according to lore because Qui-Gon had taught Obi-Wan. And certain little things
Yeah,
like that
but
can be counted as
that's not a plot
contradictions.
hole. No, because the thing is that Yoda trained all of the Jedi. Or sorry,
But that's-
he was there training. He was there training the younglings. So
But-
it's not a case of
But what you
Yoda
just
was
did right there
his-
is that you filled in the plot hole.
no. The movie
Mhm.
showed us the feeling.
They
Yoda
actually
was there
explain,
teaching the younglings.
and not only the movie, the book explains it as well. They explain why Obi-Wan was in Yoda's care before Qui-Gon took him.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. A lot of people haven't read all the books.
But
I mean,
but,
Yeah,
the,
but I mean,
but
the thing is, the thing is that the book elaborates better, but the movie itself fills everything in. It's not we're
I'm not
not
disagreeing
grabbing
with you
two.
at all.
We're not grabbing two completely separate things and contorting it so it makes sense. No, it fits in quite nicely. Yeah, okay, it might need a little bit of plaster to fill in the tiny little gap, but it fits in really nicely. And it only just takes a little bit of a wander over with some plaster to make it solid.
Well,
So that's completely fine.
I mean,
What's
you know,
happening
I'm
right
not
now
wonder-
is that we're trying to grab two separate sides to stretch and contort to try and make it make sense.
Well-
Where any so-called plot holes that the sequel trilogy, not the sequel trilogy, the prequel trilogy opens up isn't really opening up. It's just, moving a few things out the way to put in this explanation that can then be plastered over to make a better tapestry.
Well, like I was trying to say, I didn't. I don't disagree with that. I agree with you guys completely. I'm just saying that other people will look at it that way.
And they're wrong.
You can.
We don't have.
They may be wrong, but you can sort of see how they might be able to draw that conclusion, which is why I played devil's advocate for just a second.
And actually, that is the whole reason they do this, because Disney Star Wars, under these people, they don't really care about those details. They really don't care, and they are banking on the fact that a lot of the people won't care either. It's like, and I'm reading it in some of the people's opinions in some of the blogs I follow, and they're like, oh yeah, I was so excited to see Obi-Wan, and I'm like, what exactly was exciting for you? Because yeah, it was cool to see a show with him returning to the character, but what got you excited? The show so far hasn't shown us like this super cool Obi-Wan we remember, and that's a discussion for episode 2 next week. But what are you excited about? I mean, when I read people saying I'm super excited about this, I'm like, you're excited about one frame that takes like 1 second, like when they showed Anakin. Like, why are you excited about that? We have seen this. This is not new, and you already know where it's going. Then you're excited about whatever. So, and that's the audience they want, the ones that don't question anything, that they just consume the product and it doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
And wait for next product.
Yeah. And the difference is we are discussing it because it does matter to us. Maybe it doesn't matter to them, but to us it does. And the ones being left in the dark it's us, the ones who actually care and elevate the franchise to where it is. That's my problem with it. I mean, all of those details I mentioned that were negatives to me on the first episode, they are not the worst thing ever, and they're still better than Boba Fett. But the problem is, why are we still getting those kinds of details? The message is very clear. The message is, we don't care. We just need this to somehow work for the vast majority of the brainless audience, and the rest, it doesn't matter. They must really think about it that way, because but you see that they are not putting any effort. They put some effort into certain things, but they really don't care about those plot holes. They don't care about the scenes that are poorly shot, the chase. It's like, you know this is not cool, and you're still doing it. And the best proof of that is the race baiting. They released this Variety article with Moses Ingram talking about race for the whole interview.
Oh, God.
Days before the show, only to say, you have to expect fans will be racist. Why would you do that?
We have all these aliens and droids, but where are the people of color? And the Star Wars fans go,
she's acting like no
you're on the
over
short
here
list
ain't
on the
got a
long
color.
list.
Yeah.
What, that green and blue guy over there ain't a person of color? Like, okay, I guess I guess they don't count. What about the orange guy? No? Okay.
But I mean, the thing is that sort of like, who's this Mace Windu and Lando and
Captain Panaka is black.
The characters in Mandalorian. I've forgotten.
Griff Karga.
Oh yeah, Griff Karga. Yeah.
I liked him though. He was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, and the bad guy,
Moff Gideon. Ooh.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Giancarlo.
Moff Gideon.
Yes, I like him too. He's awesome.
And then there's the leader of the Royal Guard in the prequels.
Yeah, Captain Panaka.
Panaka.
And
Typho. Panaka
and hang on. The really obvious person of color. The entire clone bloody army.
Look.
Where are the people of color? an entire, what was it? 10 million army there.
I bet she's going to argue that they don't count because they are basically slave soldiers.
No, that's exactly why they count, because they're slaves.
Yeah, but she's talking about representation, so she's going to say like, "Oh no, but they are not properly represented because they are slaves."
Well, true. Well, anyways, before we go on to a whole other rant right there, we can save that for episode 2 and 3 next week. But overall, at least for this episode, and well, no, let's go ahead and rate it for both episodes so far. We can talk about why later. Do you feel that for the most part that the cons outweigh the pros, or vice versa? What do you guys think? And you don't have to go into detail why. Just say yes or no or whatever.
Cons win.
The cons win. Is that
Yeah.
like overall the 2 episodes, or just for
The 2 episodes,
Okay.
the cons win.
Okay. What
For
about
me,
you?
I think
I'm not saying that there weren't pros, but the cons win.
I think it wasn't as bad. I mean, I kind of thank them for giving us Boba Fett before, so we can have a reference, because there's no way I'm rating this as low as Boba Fett. It doesn't deserve it. And but yeah, that's my biggest issue with it is that despite having everything to succeed, unlike Boba Fett, which was doomed from the start, I think what triggers me the most about it is the I don't care factor. That's really my only issue, because most of the stuff I have to complain about seems to be the product of not caring enough.
See, at this present moment, I would actually rate Boba Fett higher.
You would?
Yeah. Now the cinematic quality of Obi-Wan is better. You can actually see the budget they put into it. But the thing is that I could see a good story in Boba Fett. Just it was badly edited and badly set up. The entire premise of the story of Obi-Wan is just crap. It's straight out of the gate, shoot the foot off, and now is trying to attempt to run the race. Or you know, or go one better. You know, tried to start rock climbing and sliced off her right hand.
Yeah.
Must be painful.
Yeah.
Well, I will say.
So the day in the life of Ben Kenobi, I think, is the high point, and at this present moment, I'm only seeing down.
Okay.
I
So
think it's
where-
for me, it's a 7. It's like, so far episodes 1 and 2 to me are like a 7, and the sad thing is that from what the leaks say and what we have seen, I think we just saw the best stuff they could offer. I think it's going downhill from here.
Well, seeing how everything that we've seen in episode 1 and 2 were in the trailers. Yeah.
Other than that, there were only like 2 or 3 scenes that we haven't seen, and the rest it was all 1 and 2.
Yeah. Well, that is either.
But yes,
leading...
I would definitely at this moment, I will rate Boba Fett higher than Kenobi at the moment.
Okay, interesting. Well, with that said, we're going to finish this discussion next week because there's so much more to discuss. And honestly, we don't have as much time to discuss it as, some others
Normal.
do. Yeah. So, and plus we don't want to go on without Commander Tano, So we're just going to go ahead and end the stream right here, So if you all enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment, We have links in the description. This episode of Star Wars Topics will be in the playlist, which is also linked in the description. It's all just Star Wars Topics episodes. So if you ever want to watch those, we have just a straight playlist of all 30. Well, it will be all 36 episodes after this, from beginning to end. And we also have links to my Twitter, which we have a Twitter, and we also have a Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, have fun down there. The link's down there as well. We also have a Twitch, which we haven't used in a while, but we'd like to get back to that eventually. Maybe when I get a better computer and stuff like that. I've already talked about my computer problems. And when Sir AOA gets his power back. Well, anyways, that'll be it for this episode. So, may the Force be with you always.